Let's get things started. Gunpla build off all set, ready, go!
Alright, this is Vegeta8259 again, and this is my probably one and only work in progress video for the resin Gundam Girl. This is part of my build off with Jabman025, and basically the story behind this is he found this kit on eBay, and I already had this kit and had been meaning to repaint mine, so I challenged him to a build off. Just a little bit of friendly competition. Anyway, this was actually my very first resin kit that I ever got. I believe I bought it back in 2003. I think I got it from Hobby Fan, and it was a nice little starter resin kit. It's pretty simple. It's not very complex at all. You could probably just glue it together, and a great little resin kit for beginners. But I painted it with some cheap Walmart brand acrylic paints. Being 7-8 years ago, I didn't do that good of a job painting it, so I decided to strip all the paint off of it and give it a new paint job. So anyway, I know it doesn't look very pretty right now, but this is what it looks like after I've given the Gundam Girl an alcohol bath and scrubbed away on the entire kit with a toothbrush. And as you can see, I've gotten about 99% of the paint off. Some of the parts, like the hair, and it just collapsed. Some of the parts, like the hair here, have still got paint down in there, but it might not look really good, but I've sanded it all pretty smooth. I've gone over the whole kit with fine grit sandpaper, so once I get a good coat of primer on here, it should look pretty nice and be ready for painting. I have installed some metal pins here, as you can see sticking out of the shoulder and the back of the head. I've even got metal pins in here to hold the beam sabers on. Those are what I'm using to connect the kit together. As you can see from the kit collapsing just now, they're really loose right now, but when I do final assembly after painting it, I'll use some epoxy glue and it should be nice and secure. I almost thought about giving this girl articulation with some Revoltec joints, but some of the things would be easy, some of the things would be really hard, like these thighs. Those would be really hard to put joints into, so I decided I'll just make it fixed pose. The paint wouldn't come off of this beam rifle because I actually painted that with Mr. Metal color, and after scrubbing it with the toothbrush, it gave it a very nice lustrous sheen. Too bad I'll have to paint over that. Anyway, here's the shield. Again, most of the paint stripped off, sanded smooth. So yeah, that's what it looks like right now. Just a big pile of resiny looking parts. So let's get a coat of primer on her and see if she looks any better. And this is what Gundam Girl looks like after a nice coat of primer. So anyway, obviously she's mostly gray right now, but now we can finally start painting on this kit. But before we do, I do want to take a quick look at my previous paint job. Like I said earlier, I did it with El Cheapo acrylic paints, and I did it back in 2003. That's, what, 7, almost 8 years ago, so it's been a long time, and I think it's safe to say my skills have come a long ways since 2003. At least I hope they have. And I just think I can do a much better job on Gundam Girl this time around than just leaving her as she was. So that's pretty much my reasoning behind doing this whole project in the first place. Now, first up in the painting process, I painted all of the white parts, and using pretty much the same process that I did on Nataku, if I can get my frickin' camera to focus, I went in and painted the whole thing with a base coat of light gray, and then went in with some highlighting with pure white, so it just gives it a subtle I did the pre-shading a lot more subtle on Gundam Girl than I did on Nataku. So, anyway, yeah, this is what the white parts are going to look like. And I think for the small details on this thing, I'm just going to hand brush those. Those are too small for me to really try and bother masking them. But anyway, this is pretty much it. Also, on some of these parts that are going to be flesh colored, I went in and gave them a base coat of white, like the legs here and on the face as well. Alright, next up we're going to be painting the red parts. And a lot of people ask me what kind of paints I use. I actually use enamel paint. And I use Rust-Oleum because it's cheaper than quote-unquote official modeling paints. And the quality is just as good, in my opinion. So I'm actually going to be doing the pre-shading with a base coat of dark red, so we'll just be using red and black here. And we've got red and black in here, and as you can see I've got a lot more red than black. You really don't need much black to darken the red up. And we're just gonna mix this together until it becomes uniform. I've also got a gigantic container of paint thinner. The good thing about paint thinner is that it's cheap. This big, almost 1 gallon container only costs like $8, and it should last me like forever. So anyway, we're just gonna put a little bit of thinner in there, mix this up. And the thing about thinning paint for airbrush anyway is that you want to get it until it's pretty much like water consistency. Or I hear a lot of people compare it to buttermilk. I don't really drink buttermilk, so I can't comment on that, but I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe, but it's like a little magic Goldilocks area where you need to get it not too thick but not too thin. So once you get some experience and you know the consistency to aim for, you'll pretty much be able to get it every time. And we're just going to load this up into the airbrush like so. And now we can finally get to work. So this is obviously the shield right here. As you can see, I've used some masking tape and masked off all of the white areas of the shield. And then we're just going to go in and start laying down our base coat of dark red. And now that we've got the shield painted with a nice coat of dark red, I've loaded up the airbrush with pure red, and we're just going to be going in and doing highlights in the large open areas. And I'm hoping this is showing up on camera, but it's going to end up looking kind of like that, but a little bit better when I'm actually done. Again, it doesn't really show up that well on camera, but you'll be able to see it when I do the final video. Alright, so now that the red paint is dry, we can go in and remove some of this masking tape. And just like that, we now have a fully painted Gundam foot. Or Gundam Girl foot, rather. Anyway, something along those lines. Gundam Girl's shield actually turned out quite nicely as well. Likewise, for the gray parts, I'm going to be using a custom dark gray that I mixed up myself. And this is what the gray parts ended up looking like. And for the flesh tones of the kit, I've actually had to go in and mix up my own flesh tone colored paint. These are pretty much the two colors I used, kind of a base coat and then the shading. And then, as you can see, it looks alright, I guess. So that's the legs. Got the upper arms painted as well. And then the head. Obviously haven't painted the eyes yet. And then I went with a brown for the hair. The original illustration for this kit showed Gundam Girl as having purple hair, and I wasn't going to do that, so I just went with brown. And again, did a little bit of highlighting on the hair as well. So anyway, yeah. And I'm going to be doing a little bit of panel lining, of course, and I'll be using my Real Touch markers. For anybody who's seen me talk about these before, you should probably already know that I really like these. And basically, it works just like a regular panel line pen. And then the trusty, I guess, partner to the Real Touch marker is a Q-tip to go in here and clean up any excess ink. So that's how I'll be doing the panel lines on this kit. Also, I've got a set of water slide decals for Master Grade Gundam Verka, and these are what I'll be using on Gundam Girl. There's way too many on here for me to use all of them, but I'll definitely be using some of them. So I guess that about does it for Gundam Girl's one and only work in progress video. At this point, all I've got to do is a little bit more masking. Got to paint the blue parts and yellow parts on the torso, and then just go in and do a little bit of detailing with a small paintbrush, and things should be looking up from there. So, I guess that's about it. Next video you should see the final completed Gundam Girl, and with that I will see you guys next time.